What's good, everyone? Happy Friday evening. Hope all is well. Are you Columbus folks and Central Ohio folks? Are you ready for this snowstorm they keep pumping up like it's the craziest, worst thing ever? I guess this is supposed to be us. It's supposed to be us tomorrow when we get hit with this foot of snow. I don't know. We'll see if the weather guys are correct this time around. But anyway, do me a favor, hit that like button if you have not already. Hit the like button. Consider subscribing. Matter of fact, don't consider, just do it. Just subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Also, if you're a podcast person, more than YouTube, Apple Podcasts, make sure you hit us up there, save us, download us, and then Spreaker.com for you non-Apple folks like me. Spreaker.com is a great platform for a podcast as well. Listen, we're going to be talking about a few things today, but the lead will be the decision by the playoff committee that we're going to discuss with, as far as expanding the playoffs. And then we're going to talk about some OC rumors. I think we're going to be coming to a close to that soon. So it's going to be very interesting. And there's some other things going on. Also tonight, we will be ending before the game. The Buckeyes play at the Big Blouse Chrysler. I guess it's the Big Chrysler Blouse. Whatever the arena is called, it's at the Team Up North tonight. Hopefully our guys can go in there and give them a tough time. I know they're good. Team Up North is good in basketball, and so should be interesting. Anyway, when it comes to those super chats that you guys send that are so great, helps to go towards the Pay It Forward, which is our military and our first responders. We're going to look out for them because they always look out for us. And Funky Buck, what's up, brother? Glad to have you here once again, man.
Yeah, good to be here. Definitely hoping for the Buckeyes to at least look competitive today up in Ann Arbor. So I'll be watching because it's hard not to. But obviously, we'll see what happens. But any given day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, we're not delusional over here. We know this is going to be a tough task. This is not football. You know what I'm saying? We are still trying to get back to where we need to be as a program. And, Team Up North is cooking right now, and they're at home. So, yeah, get out there and just ball, man. Hustle, scrape, grind. Do what you got to do and make this a game. That's all. Just do that and try to get it in the end, period. So we'll definitely have our eyes on that tonight. But before we get into the main topic, there's a few things going on that I wanted to make sure we announced or touched on. And so we got another commitment. We got another special teams commitment, y'all. So I'm going to touch on this briefly. This is a recruit, 2026, class of 2026 kicker, Cooper Peterson, committed to Ohio State. And so, this kid. So, listen, it's been a heavy emphasis on special teams lately. I know a lot of people have been, complaining about the lack of special teams, and me being one of them. Like, say what you want to say about Tressel, but Tressel was on point with special teams. His offense was Dave up the middle, Dave up the middle, Dave up the middle, occasional play action to Michael Jenkins and a Krenzel run. But he knew special teams, and we were excellent at it. So hopefully with these pickups and the emphasis, we can really get into that. Funky, what you got on this new pickup?
Yeah, I mean, clearly Ryan Day decided that his special teams room this year wasn't good enough and decided to get, two kickers to fill in for, Jaden Fielding, obviously graduating. And then he told, Jackson Corville to, hit the portal. So Jackson found a new home. I think he found a new home at least. And then also Jaden Fielding will go into his, professional career and whatever he wants to do post football. So the Buckeyes needed to, get two kickers, and we obviously got that stud from Baylor who, we'll see how he does at Ohio State, but made a 50-yard walk-off winner at Baylor this year. And I would, if Ohio State kicker can do that, then man, we're going to be in good hands. Because clutch time kicking is it takes a different type of kicker, in my personal opinion. Because Fielding, and you look at his stats, he was, as good as most kickers in America, like purely off, makes and misses. But when he was in the clutch time, he was just bad. Just extremely bad. So hopefully this Baylor kid can, handle the pressure at Ohio State and handle probably it's gonna be a little colder up here compared to Texas. So hopefully he can, come up here and make some big time kicks. And as it goes to the high school level and gets a kid, so hopefully he can, develop and be ready for next year. Then obviously we got that uh, punter in the portal yesterday, or was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
2 days
But
ago.
yeah, that in-state kid,
Yep.
punter transfer. We'll see how he is. With we obviously had the Australian big leg kid transfer to Arizona State. So our punter last year actually made pretty good improvements throughout the year and had some beastly kicks even versus Miami in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what if these changes actually work or if genuinely the pressure at Ohio State is the issue. Because that could be true. It could just
Yeah.
be we just the pressure at Ohio State is just super hard to overcome. So a guy who succeeds at Baylor or at Houston Christian just don't translate the same way at Ohio State. Or maybe we just have special teams coaching. That'll be interesting to see how it turns out this year. And I have pretty high hopes for the special team rooms.
Yeah, me too, man. I like these new additions. And here's the Brady Young kid Funky was just referring to from Perrysburg, Ohio, which is up by Toledo, Maumee area. He has a long of 66. I mean, he has good numbers. And so, and again, going back to fielding, because I've had people, because people just like to argue Funky. They just want to argue. It's the same stats. It's not the same stats because, again, making kicks under pressure when it really matters is what sets you apart. That's what sets you apart. And so, yeah, I think the Baylor kid can come in here and adjust to the pressure here. I mean, he has a big leg. It's one thing to make a tough 27-yarder with the game on the line. I'm not saying that's easy, but it's another thing to make over a 50-yarder with the game on the line. And so, yeah, I've definitely got high hopes for that for sure. And so, Funky, did you want to say anything to that before I kind of moved on to the next thing?
I mean, I just agree with what you're saying. That just but people who are saying, "Oh, his stats are just as good as Fielding," then you'd also have to say, then Fielding's you'd have to you admit that Fielding's a good kicker. So, and we all know
Right.
the reality behind that.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so another thing, and I'm kind of just giving y'all the news of stuff that's happened. It's been little stuff that's been happening today or being announced before we get to the college football playoffs. So the NCAA has officially approved commercial jersey patches in college sports. Okay, did you hear about this, Funky?
Yeah, I did. I think it's very interesting. I I, I like it personally, but it just need it. Or maybe I don't like it, but it's needed, and it's something that as college athletics costs more money, they need to you know generate more revenue to be able to keep up with the times. And this is all going to translate into stricter salary cap rules and more professional sports rules all throughout collegiate sports. So
Yep.
this is the step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Yep, definitely. And shout out to the homie Stilly Matt for sending me the scum jersey with the Walmart patch. You know them Walmart Wolverines are gonna have Walmart be their sponsor. What a perfect fit. Hilarious. Good stuff. But yeah, we'll get used to it. It'll be just like the NBA, right? It was like at first it was like, man, come on. It's just like, come on. And then now it's just what it is. It's just what it is. So anyway, so yeah, let's get to the playoff expansion talk, and then I'm gonna circle back to a couple other things that have been going on. So basically, it was announced today that the college football playoff committee voted to not expand to 16 teams and stay at 12. Now, I know there was some Funky that was, depending on who you talk to, was very confident that they would expand. It was almost like a done deal. Like, oh yeah, it's going to happen, and it didn't happen. So me personally, I'm cool with it. I'm fine with it. I still would like to see some tweaks within the 12 team system. I agree with Nevada about some of these games, like have reward the higher seeds with home games, even if they have a bye. It's just they still need to tweak. The 16, I just don't know what purpose that would have served, honestly. Are they gonna put more two lanes and James Madison's in there to get smashed? I don't know. I mean, what did you think about that? Did you have a strong opinion, Funky, about the 16 teams or the 12 teams? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think I'd rather it go to 16 because I don't like the whole bye system in the 12-team playoffs.
Hmm.
I also don't like the auto bids going to conference champions. Like that
Yeah,
doesn't for a
yeah,
12-team playoffs, I just don't like that as much. I don't get why Notre Dame gets a auto bid if they're in the top 12, but every other team in America doesn't
yeah.
because they play, I mean, the easiest schedule I've ever seen in my entire life. While Ohio State, Michigan have to play, you know, 5, 6 games versus top 20 opponents. I mean, most of those teams being, in the top five with Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana, or three teams that Michigan has to play next year, and then Ohio State obviously has to play at Indiana, and then at home versus Oregon, and then versus Michigan, on top of at Texas, and Michigan has to play
Right.
at home versus Oklahoma. So just I think it's pretty. I don't know. There's a scheduling imbalance right now in college football, and it's impossible to really make up for because it's are you going to leave out an 11-1 Notre Dame team for a 9-3 Ohio State team or a
Yeah.
9-3 Michigan team? You should. You should because a 9-3 Ohio State team next year would be someone who beat some really good teams but has to go at Bloomington, at home versus Oregon, yeah, at Texas, at Iowa, at Nebraska. I mean, no teams in the country could really like you can't seriously look at that and be like a team that goes 9-3 with that schedule shouldn't be in a 12-team playoffs over a team like Notre Dame whose one loss could be versus BYU and their best wins are SMU and whatever the heck. It's like or they
Yeah.
play or they lose in Miami again or it's whatever. It's our best wins, whatever. It just kind of there's a huge schedule imbalance. So for me, the 16-team playoffs would have made some sort of sense with would allow the best 9-3 teams to make it, still included teams like Notre Dame and whatever BYU and these other ACC teams or teams like that who really just don't really deserve a spot in the first place, but also and the bye and fix the bye week situation. So I think 24 is too much, but I think 16 is better than 12. But I think 8 would have been better than 12 as well. I think 12 is just a weird number.
I got you. So your whole angle is not the number per se, but what the number does to fix the system potentially, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
No, that makes sense. I definitely feel you from that standpoint because I mean, again, we've been talking about this the past few days. For people who haven't seen it or heard it, I'm going to remind y'all of the schedule. We're at Texas in week 2. We go to at Indiana October 17th. I believe that will no, that's not going to be the Big Ten opener because it's too late. But looking at the schedule, it's not in order. So either way, we got to go at Indiana, at Iowa, which I'm very nervous about, at USC, and that's not even talking about Oregon at home, and at Nebraska, which is just the point is going on the road is tough, and we got some tough games this season. Now, I mean, this team, I'm hoping and believing that this offense can really shift gears and carry this team because this schedule is not going to be easy. Now, with that said, I get your point. It's like, because listen, college football is becoming NFL light, where especially if you have a tough schedule, there may be teams that get in with multiple losses because of their strength of schedule and how good they are. Just like the NFL, you have wild card teams with almost 500. Obviously, it's not going to get to that point, but because we don't play 18 regular season games. But you see what I'm saying. So no, I get the concern. I get it. I'm just hoping they continue to make the appropriate tweaks to make it make more sense. Because you're right, it really isn't fair if Ohio State's playing this schedule like this compared to like a Notre Dame who just continues to get special treatment by default because of their situation. So it is what it is. But you make good points. You make a good argument, Funky.
Yeah, it's a weird situation because obviously we all know what the solution is, and that is, you know, a 60 team NFL type
NCAA March
outlook.
Madness. type of.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, just making a super league, between 40 teams, 50 teams. So
Yeah.
the schedules have to be balanced because you distribute the best talent between those 50 teams. And logically, when you do that, the teams all get better, which means they all get, neutrally as good. So obviously, when you make those schedules, you will have some imbalances like you do in the NFL, where you still see some teams have easier schedule than other teams. But at the end of the day, it's all pretty equal, and we can all pretty much agree that those schedules are, pretty fair enough, where we don't feel like some teams are getting absolutely screwed like we do in college football. So
Right.
that, and with the jersey patches, and you're going to turn in these tampering things that's going on in Clemson, and or not really, or Clemson, Ole Miss, and
I was gonna bring that up too.
all that
Yeah.
other stuff. There has to be more regulations. And for the hardest part, you have to balance the whole school part of this. We gotta remember that these are, you know, 18-year-old kids that are getting a degree, and like actually having to go to school and take finals and do their homework and show up to class. I think at least, I mean, a lot of them do. Most of them do. So I know we always talk about the ones that don't, but the 90% of kids that play college football that have to actually do their finals and do their homework and do the whole thing, and they don't get the special privileges that I'm sure the top 5-10% do,
Yeah.
allegedly. But it's just an interesting standpoint, and we'll see how fast this happens. But everyone knows that there's going to be the teams that can afford it, the 60 teams that can afford it, and everyone else. So I think there's 150 teams right now in FBS Football B or something like that, 132. They'll probably cut it in half and separate it, and then go from there. And then there'll be a second division of football that looks more like the old college football that we all enjoyed. Then there'll be a new NFL type college football that Ohio State will probably be a part of, or will be a part of.
Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows what's going on? Ryan Day a few years ago said you're not going to recognize college football in the next 5 years, and we're already there. We're there. Now, before we get to the OC stuff, let's segue since you mentioned the Dabo Swinney. I definitely wanted to touch on that because that was wild. Did you watch the whole 8 minute press conference, Funky?
Yeah, I did. I was very I was proud of Dabo. This needs to happen more. That needs to happen more. So I
Yeah,
mean, I know definitely a lot of teams are involved in this, and I'm not saying Ohio State's clean, but there's teams that do it way worse than like Dabo said. There's teams that do it, teams that tamper, like every team, and there's teams that do what Ole Miss does, which is a lot of those teams that we all know of, Tennessee, Texas,
right.
Ole Miss. But I mean, obviously Ohio State does our fair share of tampering, but nothing as bad as what Dabo underlined in this press conference.
Yeah, I mean, because of the wild, wild west and nothing really concrete, it's like there's contact being made to these athletes through agents and like everybody is doing it. But like I said, oh yeah, like you said, Ole Miss, this was another level. And so here's a tweet. Clemson coach Dabo Swinney says transfer linebacker Luke Farrelly's agent told Clemson that they turn over text messages for Clemson to use against Ole Miss if Clemson added a second year for $1 million to Farrelly's already agreed upon contract. Clemson GM Jordan Sorrell's decline. So it's an 8 minute press conference for those who haven't seen it, and he's literally going through a timeline. Dabo Swinney is at 11:20. This happened in 12:15, such and such. I mean, he's laying it out, talking about all the repeated attempts by Ole Miss to pull his player to the portal, all that, just a mess. So yeah, man, it's leave it to Dabo out of anybody to do that. But it was definitely kind of crazy because stuff is going on, Funky. But to hear the details of it was just like, yo, like this is definitely wild. And what else is wild is whoever made this meme in the comments, taking down the NIL cheats one deal at a time, equalizer for redemption, Swinney and Jesus, cleaning up college football. I just happened to see that. That's hilarious. But yeah, Funky. This is crazy. Now, do you think anything is going to come of this?
That to me, I would hope so, because I would think the NCAA can have some sort of regulation when it comes to tampering at this level and ineligible players. 'Cause, I mean, they've done it before with tampering where they've made players ineligible. So I hope so. Uh, is Do I want to give a percent chance? Am I optimistic it will? I don't think so. I think I'm pretty pessimistic about anything NCAA at this point,
Yeah.
which is kind of the boring take, but it's true until it's not true. So
Right.
until NCAA does something, then it's going to be true. So, but then we've seen, uh, thankfully, not total wild west in terms of players being held accountable for the contracts. I'm enjoying this buyout stuff that's happening, and I'm enjoying this fighting, or the Desmond Williams going to have to stay at Washington, and the Duke quarterback looking like he's going to have to stay at Duke. So it's I'm seeing some positive stuff. So that stuff's definitely giving me a positive outlook on what's to come for college football and what could come with these contracts, and actually holding these kids to these contracts like anyone else in America's held to their contract in a buyout, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Nah, nah, I hear you. I definitely hear you. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if anything happens from it. I'm not that confident. I mean, NCAA has recently shown that it's just like whatever. It's whatever. It's unpredictable in what they're going to do, even if something is blatantly clear and evidence and everything on your lap. So we'll see. But definitely wanted to transition to the OC, offensive coordinator position for Ohio State. So a few candidates that seem to be kind of uh, at the top of people's list, but I keep hearing JT Barrett, Funky. At every turn, I keep hearing JT Barrett. Somebody at work earlier hit me up like, "Hey man, what's up with JT Barrett?" Listen, I love JT Barrett. I would love to see him back at Ohio State at some point. He just needs to be. He's perfect for our program. However, he's not ready to be Ohio State's OC. No way. In my opinion, maybe I'm tripping, but not yet. But I want to bring him back. So I'm even entertaining this because I love that kid, JT Barrett. But are people actually serious, Funky, about JT coming here to be the offensive coordinator?
I mean, I would be very surprised if JT ended up getting the job, but I would also be very surprised if Ohio State, doesn't shoot him an interview, or him and someone, JT and someone within Ohio State, if that's Ryan Day, or if that's Mark Bantoni, or if that's who knows, is not contacting JT to at least talk on this and see how much JT has learned at the Bears, because he's had a pretty successful NFL career so far. I think he's with the Saints for a few years. He was with the Lions. Then he's with the Bears. Clearly, Caleb Williams showed some pretty good improvements from year one
Yeah.
to year two. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how he turns out. But you just got to think, what can Ohio State offer him? Because they obviously, like you said, you want him in Ohio State, but you really couldn't offer him a role
Right.
that would be an improvement over an NFL quarterback coaching job. So the next optimal step would be an offensive coordinator role, uh, play calling role. So will Ohio State give him the opportunity? No, I don't think this year. I do not think that. I think Ohio
Yeah.
State's going to go to the NFL, and go for someone who's going to either lose their job soon enough here with the new head coaching hires, or someone who's going to strike out on some of these things. But I know Ohio State's swinging big for their hires, and with Matt Patricia coming back, you gotta shoot big for this next offensive coordinator hire, and really have someone there that has some maturity. So last year we were dealing with a lot of immaturity at that position.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And that's the thing. It's just like, it's just not time yet. Like JT Barrett at Ohio State is a thing of beauty. The concept, the thought, it's almost like a must happen. It's just not time yet for that position of OC. He hasn't called plays. No, like he's not ready for that. Keep his seat warm. Let him know, hey, we're interested down the line. We want you in this program. But right now, no. Now, here's a couple of names that seem to be emerging, and I'm hearing that are actually, Ohio State is actually looking into. Press Taylor. Press Taylor, okay? This guy, young guy, he used to coach with Ryan Day with the Eagles. He's been around the block a little bit. He was an offensive quality control coach with the Eagles back in 2013. Since then he's been with the Colts. as a senior offensive assistant. Jacksonville Jaguars, he got promoted as an offensive coordinator, okay, under Doug Peterson. And then now he's with the Bears. So he's an upcoming guy that people respect in the league. Young guy. Press Taylor's a name that has been kind of keeps circulating. The other name is Todd Monken. I think that's an even more known name. He's been around for a minute as well. Currently was with the Ravens. He used to be with the Browns back in 2019 as their O coordinator. He was at Georgia as their offensive coordinator back in 2020, and that's when they won the championship over Bama. Obviously, with the Ravens, I mean, he's a hot name. The Browns are looking at him. Unless I missed a update, that did the Browns hire somebody yet? I don't think they did. Point is, Monken is a hot name, and I would be ecstatic if we got Monken. So, what do you feel about any of these two names, Funky?
Yeah, but Press Taylor name is the name that I've actually heard being talked about, and I really do like his background. And, as the passing game coordinator for the Bears, because Ryan Day, especially this year with Julian Sainz junior year or third year at the program, and Jeremiah Smith's third and final year at the program, you really probably have to make an emphasis on this elite passing game. And you lost Brian Hartline, who was that passing game coordinator for the last couple of years here at Ohio State. So that would be, in my opinion, a very good hire for Ohio State, and I can definitely see that one happening. I know there's bigger names on the table, and Ohio State just has to see who gets what jobs in the NFL, who gets hired to where. Like Mike McDaniel getting the offensive coordinator job at the Chargers was interesting. I mean, it shows you how bad that Browns job is. But a lot of these stuff is very, very interesting, very, very interesting, and it's gonna be interesting to see how it turns out. There's never been this much turnover in the NFL, so it's just something that Ohio State's monitoring, and it's gonna have to continue because we have to hit a home run on this hire. If you don't hit a home run on this hire, then you might as. I mean, Jeremiah Smith's time here obviously is not wasted, but any year where you don't win the national championship and you could kind of point at the inexperience at offensive coordinator for that reason, it'd just be very disappointing. And Ohio State knows that. So this is a once in a lifetime opportunity where you have the best quarterback in college football returning to your team, with the best player in college football at the wide receiver position returning to your team, with four offensive lineman starters, with the only one you're losing was your worst one, who you kind of you pushed out of the program anyways, with elite tight end talent, all Big Ten tight end talent, probably the top two running back in the entire Big Ten, maybe the best running back in the Big Ten. So there's no reason why this offense shouldn't be the best in the nation next year, honestly be. So, and Ohio State knows that too. So they're not trying to get some coaching in progress like JT Baird or something. They really want to shoot for the stars with someone in the NFL who's been there and done that before. So all those NFL names I would very, very much be looking. But I've just been being told that Ohio State is just shooting for the stars with this one, and they're not trying to hire a safe hire or an inexperienced hire or a development hire, or someone who might be here for 3-4 years. They want someone who's gonna hopefully only be here for 1 or 2 years, win a natty and go. So because if you win a natty, then you can leave after one. You don't offend me. Exactly. If you don't win a natty, you should be here for at least 2. But so that's the type of prospect Ohio State's going after for that offensive coordinator role.
Yeah, definitely. And this just kind of pushes back against that notion of some who have reported that they're hiring within. No, never made sense, doesn't make sense. Like Nevada said, if that's the case, make the hire. If your guy is already in the building, what are you waiting on?
That's not happening, B. That was, I really, when I saw that first, I was like, that would be the dumbest thing of all time. 2, that's not even being discussed. I would be shocked if, the one who would be Keenan Bailey would be the next up for that. He's probably the most veteran guy in that offensive room right now, and he's not being considered for that role. He's lucky to have his role that he has right now at Ohio State. So. And Ohio State knows that too. I mean, he's a little, butt buddies with Ryan. So doesn't, that was never gonna happen. That was silly at the time. Silly now. I
never believed that. Never, not for 1 second. And so that's why I'm pushing back against it. Like, because there's still people who have recently said, "Oh, we're hearing it's going to be higher within, or it's taking too long. It's going to be a higher within. No, it's the NFL. We're going after coaches. Things are shaking out. And Ryan Day is doing his due diligence on his candidates, but these candidates are also looking at NFL jobs. That's what's taking so long. We told y'all that weeks ago, that it was most likely coming from the NFL. And so we'll find out soon who it will be. But yeah, I definitely wanted to clear that up for sure. But yeah, listen, let's get to this super chat. Stilly Matt, thank you, sir, for being who you are. Go Buckeyes Hoops. Listen, I'm a Buckeye Hoops fan. Our boys need to show up today and ball. Just ball. Listen, I know we're what you say, Funky, 15-point underdogs? Something like that?
15 and a half, I think it was the
15
line.
and a half. Okay, so yeah. So we're not supposed to win this game. You know, the team up north, B-ball, is good. They're good. I'm not going front. But just go hoop, fellas. Hustle, scrap, get rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't back down. Play smart and go ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can beat these dudes. And so the only thing is, with close games with this Buckeye basketball team, they have been snake bitten when it comes to finishing close games, especially on the road. But listen, regardless, man, do your thing, fellas. You're having a good January. Usually under Holtman, we would implode completely. Like, we've had historically bad Januaries under Holtman, and we're already, 4-2 in the month of January. So, you know, one game at a time, fellas. You got anything on that, Funky?
All I got to say is if we beat them, then it doesn't matter what they do after that. Doesn't even matter if they, run the table and win the Big Ten and win the Big Ten in the regular season, win the Big Ten in the postseason, and then go on and win March Madness. Doesn't matter. You lost to your rivals at home. It's irrelevant. Don't look at it. Might as well not even cheer for the team during March Madness, as they probably make their Final Four run or whatever. I'll be happier with Ohio State being a bubble team if we win this game today. Because it's all that matters is this one game or the next game that we beat them. So if we beat them one out of two times, then you can't even celebrate the natty. So don't even try to be happy.
I absolutely love the logic. The logic twister. You see how that logic is, scum fans? It doesn't work, does it? No, of course it doesn't. But real quick as we close out, when stars align, I'm dreading Snowmageddon. Yeah, me too. I mean, I'll be in the backyard, making snow angels and building snowmen with my kids if we get, dumped on like they say we will. But still, like, we've already been to the store. The only thing is, when stars align, remember, when stars align, she works at Cheesecake Factory. I was telling myself I was going to go this weekend and get me another one of them cheesecakes that I just loved, the chocolate one. But now I'm just like, dang, because I'm going to have to go. But hold on, it's not supposed to start snowing until tomorrow night. I might be able to come through and grab me some cheesecake and then just bunker down at the crib. But yeah, we're about to get hit, Funky, here in Columbus. So they say, with maybe up to a foot of snow starting tomorrow. So we'll see.
If you want, B, you can come to California where it's for the next week the low is a 61 and a high is a 66. So if you want between 61 and 66 and sunny, be just hop on a plane.
It's that easy. Just hey, wife, kids, life. I'm about to go kick it with Funky and do the Humpty dance out in California while y'all sitting here freezing.
It's been nice here though. I can't even lie, B. So I know in the Midwest it's gonna get hit hard. Missouri's getting really hard as well, and Columbus, and I have some buddies all up there for college. But I'm definitely nice to be here in my winters where I get to sunbathe in the winter. But I do feel for you guys. But be on BuckeyeScoop.com for some entertainment during those times. So I'll be there with you guys. Even I might be at the beach while I'm there, but I'll be there for sure.
Yeah, the board will be lit for all the people here, like, just finding something to do. But no, it's all good. This is what we do here in Ohio. We get snow, whatever. So yeah, it's all good. But listen, that's it for tonight, y'all. Again, Buckeye basketball, 8 p.m. on Fox, I believe. I think it's on Fox tonight. So we're going to chill, watch that. Until next time, we love you, Buckeye Scoop family, Buckeye Nation. Go Bucks. Peace.